Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can master caffeine for high energy, focus, and performance. I'm going to be discussing timing as well as dosage. So without further ado, let's just dive right into the video. Caffeine consumption and when you drink it matters. Because if you drink too early or late in a day, you're not going to experience positive effects of coffee. You're actually going to feel the opposite. The same with dosage. You don't want to drink too little coffee or you don't want to drink too much of caffeine because else you won't feel it or you will experience anxiety and jitters. So before I dive deeper into when you should drink your coffee and how much, I would like to explain a little bit of more science about this and how everything works in your brain. And it all begins with adenosine. So adenosine is a chemical found in human cells and it makes us feel tired as well as sleepy. Now when caffeine binds to adenosine receptors, it prevents adenosine from breaking down and creating the energy. After consuming a cup of coffee or any type of caffeine, you've probably had a good high in your body and you felt really energized and like on top of the world, but then your brain started to notice the mismatch between the amount of adenosine in your system. Caffeine is essentially tricking your brain that you have more energy than before you drink your cup of coffee. All you are doing while drinking any type of caffeine or cup of coffee is that you're delaying the feeling of tiredness as well as sleepiness. And it's because once caffeine is present, adenosine cannot function. And there is no way to completely eliminate adenosine from your system because it doesn't work like that. Adenosine is a pro-sleep molecule and it is a non-negotiable aspect of your biology. It is released every 24 hours in your body without you even knowing about it. But there are some tools and ways that you can actually clear out the adenosine, especially in the morning, so you can actually feel more alert and have more energy. And the main and the big one is sleep. You need to make sure you're getting enough proper sleep every single night. Another way to clear out your adenosine during the day whenever you feel tired is to take a 20-minute nap or NSDR, which stands for non-sleep deep rest. Another way you can view sunlight in the morning, which can also help out to clear the adenosine due to the effects of the sunlight that it has on your body, and especially on your cortisol levels, which I'm going to cover later in this video. Also, there is evidence that certain form of exercise, especially intense and brief exercise, can actually also help to clear out the adenosine, but also block its negative effects, such as the afternoon energy crash. And here comes the ugly part that we all experienced in the past, and this is where the caffeine that was once attached to adenosine receptors, it becomes dislodged from these adenosine receptors, and this is where you actually feel super tired and sleepy. And it's because of this massive backlog of adenosine that was, compounding while you were drinking coffee and postponing it. All of that adenosine that you push down will actually appear. It will make you, again, very sleepy and tired. And this is where you experience your afternoon crash or energy dip or however you like to call it. The same effect can happen when you consume your caffeine while your cortisol levels, especially in the morning, are very high. And it's because in the morning your adenosine levels were still high, but when you introduce coffee to it while your cortisol is high as well, again, you start with the backlog process and this whole cycle repeats itself. So as a consequence of you not letting your body naturally clear out adenosine or leveraging tools like viewing sunlight, exercising, or spiking your cortisol by going for a quick jog or exposing yourself to cold shower or an ice bath. If you don't do that, if you don't let your body to naturally clear out the adenosine, then you're going to experience crazy afternoon crashes. Now let's talk about timing. You want to delay your caffeine intake minimum of 30 minutes up to 120 minutes after waking up. The best case scenario would be 90 to 120 minutes after waking up. As I mentioned before, when you drink coffee immediately right after you wake up or 5, 10, 20 minutes after you wake up, for a moment you're going to feel alert and focused. That's again because you are blocking the effects of adenosine. And once that wears off, you're going to experience these afternoon dips around 12 up to 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So that's why drinking more coffee when you feel tired is actually doing the opposite. If you didn't sleep well or deeply enough, you're going to have more adenosine in your system, so it's going to accumulate a little bit more and you're going to feel even more groggy and tired than usual. So what most people do in that moment, again, is that they drink more coffee. Instead of letting your body flush out and clear the system itself, they're actually postponing it even more and causing more energy crashes in the afternoon a couple hours later. And if you continue doing this, then there's an accumulation of adenosine that just hangs around, and then in the afternoon, when the effects of the caffeine starts to wear off, you will experience the afternoon crash and energy dips. Now when it comes to timing, it's really important to understand cortisol as well, because the way you clear your adenosine from your system is by spiking your cortisol. Now cortisol gets a bad rep because it's a stress hormone and people associate it with something bad. Now cortisol can actually be a very good thing for you, especially in the morning, because it signals to your body that it's time to wake up and get going and for you to stay alert and focused. You're in a constant stress mode and your cortisol levels are high at all times during the day. Now that's a problem and you need to take care of it by implementing some sort of a recovery protocol or just learning how you can relax and get that stress away, or have that stress under some sort of moderation so your cortisol levels are not high at all times, because you just want them high in the morning. One of the reasons why you wake up in the morning, if you weren't woken up by some sounds, noise, or hot temperature in your room, is that your cortisol levels start to rise and your body temperature increases. And shortly after waking up, your cortisol levels will start to reach their peak. And this is called a cortisol pulse, which means that there's a rise and peak at your cortisol levels. You want that cortisol pulse to occur early in the day, close to your wake up time. If you don't restrict that cortisol pulse early in the day, it will tend to bleed into later parts of your day, which is actually a good thing because you have more high stable energy throughout the day. Please make sure that you don't drink your coffee first thing in the morning. Now instead, what you can do, you can drink a big glass of water and drink some electrolytes as well. You can view sunlight for 5 to 15 minutes, especially on clouded days. When there are clouds outside, just go for 10 or 20 minutes. You still want to expose yourself to sunlight. Now, by getting bright light in your eyes in the first thing hour after waking up or as soon as you wake up, actually increase the peak of the cortisol pulse by 50%, which actually results in you having better mood, alertness, as well as clearing out any residual adenosine that might be present in your system when you wake up in the morning. And lastly, you want to do some quick exercise or any type of physical activity, for example, quick run, walking, boxing, jumping jacks, pull-ups, push-ups, skipping rope, whatever that might be. Now let's talk about the dosage, because the dose actually makes the poison. So too little caffeine won't do you anything, but too much of caffeine will cause you anxiety and jitters. So where's the sweet spot? And now it really depends on an individual, because it's mainly because of your weight. So a general rule of thumb is to consume 1 to 3 milligrams of caffeine per 1 kilogram of your body weight. So that's a rule you can follow. Another way to dose properly is to stay within a range of 50 milligrams up to 400 milligrams of caffeine per day. Now 1 cup of coffee is on average around like 50 to 100 milligrams. So if you don't feel any effects from drinking just 1 cup of coffee, then you can increase it to drinking 2 and see if it works. It's all about experimenting. It's all about seeing what works for you so you can find the optimal range. Now, if you feel like to hit the spot and you feel complete focus and alertness, you can get in the flow easy and you don't have anxiety and jitters, then you know your dosage. But if you feel jittery and you feel a little bit sick, you know that you need to lower your dosage. Observe how your body reacts and test it out. Really want to understand and learn what is your optimal dosage of caffeine per day, because when you're, for example, underslept and you feel tired and you want to increase your focus, energy, and alertness, you know exactly what you can do. So what I mean by that is that, for example, you had a bad night of sleep and now you want to increase your energy and just feel a little bit better. So now what you're going to do, you're going to increase your dosage by 50% above your baseline. Okay, so that's when you add, instead of drinking 1 cup of coffee, you drink 1.5. If you're drinking 2 cups of coffee and that's your base, you're going to drink 2.5, okay, or maybe 3. But please remember, this is not what you want to do every single day. You need to fix your sleep if you're not feeling rested in the morning and if you're waking up during the night and you're not getting proper sleep, because coffee is a tool, not a band-aid. And if you're not a regular coffee drinker, start with the low dosage. You don't have to go crazy. Just start with 50 milligrams and see how you feel. And for the second group of people who are actually immune to coffee and they're drinking like 200, 300, up to 400 milligrams of caffeine per day and they're not actually feeling anything, then what I would suggest is to do a quick reset. You can start by not drinking coffee once per week and see how you feel. Or if you feel like it, you can just go a little bit more than that, like 5 days or a week. But it's going to be difficult. You're going to have some side effects, but it actually can be very beneficial for you because it will reset your whole system, and then you can start with a low dosage and see how you feel. That's everything for today's video. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, or you can reach me personally on Instagram. The link is in the description. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.